I just want to share a couple of thoughts about heart maps, and about a couple of other things too. Um, I've used heart maps in the classroom and they work well for some students. And I've seen them used by other teachers, and I've seen many children really enjoy creating their heart maps, thinking about the things that they love. Um, but they're not for everybody. So I do see them overused, like used every year, and I see sort of eye rolls with children like, oh, not heart maps again. A couple of things that I've done in the past that have been quite fun is thinking like outside of the heart, like things that you hate, things that drive you crazy, things that really annoy you, because they can be fun to write about too. Things that make you mad, things that make you angry. Um, so yeah, so you might add those around your hearts. Another thing, another way of generating ideas for writing, which I've started to use, which I found more powerful. I'll tell you about in a second, because I think sometimes heart maps get students to write about their pets and their families and the sports, and those are all good things. But I also want them to like really kind of feel that passion, like what writing can do. Um, and so one of the ways that I really loved was how Goldie Mohammed, this book Cultivating Genius, you'll probably hear me talk about it again because I love this book. Um, and she talks about this idea of the urgency of your pen. And this actually came from another amazing researcher, writer, Alfred Tatum, who was, who she learned from when she was at university. Um, and she said that he asked the question, what issues are most urgent of your pen, right? What issues are most urgent of your pen? So I want you to think about that question, and I'm actually going to get you to write a list based on that idea too. So this question, it calls on students to think about their identities and communities and determine those social issues that are most in need of change or improvement. So you might think about education, you might think about race, you might think about sexism, you might think about gender identities, you might think about, something within your community. It could be anything, but something that you're really passionate about. So when I ask this question of youth, they develop, this is what she's saying here, they develop a list of issues that need more attention or revision. These issues then become the subject for learning within the different content areas. It becomes the charge of the teacher to intellectualize these topics and connect to other learning goals of skill development. So she talks about in the past, her students have written about issues such as love, police brutality, gentrification, lack of fairness or justice in news media, bullying and social media inflicting harm, air quality, clean water, cleanliness of neighborhoods, quality of schools. The list can go on and on. But one thing I'm going to challenge you to think about is that question. What issues are most urgent of your pen? And I'm going to get you to write a list. Doesn't need to be a long list at this point. You can always add to it in the future. But I'd really like you to think about that question, because I think it has a very different way of generating ideas and topics for writing.